hello everyone, and welcome to Your Health in Your Hands. I'm Dr. David Ajibade with the Brain and Body Foundation. Thank you for joining us. Now, October is recognized as the International Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And as you know, we talked a little bit about cancer in general and breast cancer in particular. We're still going to talk a lot more about cancer in the coming weeks and months, but we have a special guest today. I'm going to introduce her after the break. She is actually a breast cancer survivor, but she hasn't left it there. She's not just a survivor. She's also someone who helps other people to not only survive breast cancer, but also to prevent breast cancer and educate them on how they can help themselves and also support each other when it comes to breast cancer. So I'm really looking forward to this talk. Now, I want to kind of remind you of a few more things that we talked about in the past. One of the things we said is that Black women tend to have the highest rates of breast cancer all over the world, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but all over the world. In fact, in the US over here, Black women tend to have higher rates of breast cancer at an earlier age, usually before the age of 40. It tends to be more aggressive. It tends to be more difficult to treat, and they tend to have higher rates of a certain kind of cancer called triple negative breast cancer. Up till now, the best oncologists still haven't figured out a way, or they have not all agreed on how to treat triple negative breast cancer. And I talked about that a little bit. If you want more information, you can go to our website, brainandbodyfoundation.org/cancer. We talk about some of these other things. But cancer is something that everybody should be aware of. Cancer is something that we should start planning, especially when you get past the age of 30. And like I always say, 30 is like when everything is kind of plateaus off. And then that's when things begin to break down, things begin to go south. So it's very important that we not be afraid of cancer. They say over 50% of people will get cancer. They are beginning to project. So don't be afraid of it, but we need to know what to do to protect ourselves so that we don't fall into that trap. So at this point, if you haven't called your friends, your family to this program, please go ahead and do so. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Make sure you call your friends and family, let them watch this program. We'll see you soon. All right, welcome back. On the show today, I have Ms. Collier Obi, who lives and works in the UK. She's a stage 3 breast cancer survivor and thriving. She says she is not her scar, hence that's why she started the Collier Breast Cancer Foundation, KISS, KISS initiative, where advocacy, awareness, and surviving is our key. Now, they have created awareness using various means, social media, outreaches in the rural areas of Nigeria. So social media and outreaches in the rural areas of Nigeria. As part of making this a reality, they launched a project, Wheel for Life, an initiative to distribute chemotherapy care packages to patients undergoing chemotherapy in Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Luth, and National Hospital, Abuja, where I once worked. Also distributes mastectomy bras to women who have recently had their breasts removed by mastectomy. So, Collier, welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much.
So good to have you. So this is a lot you're doing. I'm sure we're going to have time to really unpack this. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, like I've just been introduced, my name is Collier Obi. I live and reside in London. I work with an NHS trust, a mental health. I work within the mental health sector, NHS. I always introduce myself as a survivor and thriving.
Great. We need more. We need more people like that. So let's take it a step back. You were diagnosed with breast cancer at what age?
I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer at the age of 45.
45. Okay, so that's kind of like it's not an early stage like what we're beginning to see. So at that time, to tell us about your experience. Let's see what we can learn from your experience and how that experience shaped what you're doing today for people with breast cancer?
Okay, so with my experience, I basically found a lump myself. Some people might not be that lucky. So during having a shower, I got to feel a lump, which I ignored. Danger sign, red flag. I ignored it because I was more interested in going. I had a holiday to go to. So I was more interested in going for my holiday. But when I got back from my holiday, I had a letter from my GP, general practitioner, my doctor, to carry out what is called a smear test. And I just thought to myself, okay, since you found this lump, you didn't want to go to the doctor in the first place, but now you've had a letter to come for a smear test. Why don't you kill two birds with one stone? So when I called up my GP, I did say, I've had a letter, I need to book for my smear test. However, I have found a lump on my left breast. And the doctor immediately said to me, can you come in this afternoon? And I said, yes. So I went in to see the doctor. He did all the examination and everything and said to me, it might not be anything where it is, but he's a bit concerned. The lump was quite big and because of my age. And he decided to send me to go do a mammogram. So I went in for my mammogram. I got the letter to do a mammogram a week and a half after seeing my doctor. And after that, I went in for the mammogram. But what is very thrilling was when I was going, cancer was the least thing on my mind. I didn't think about anything. And not that I've heard people have died of cancer, but I've never thought it would come anywhere close to me, you know. It's the least thing, it is the least sickness I've ever thought about. So I went in there, did the mammogram. Then the nurse said to me, can you have a seat? I'll get the doctor to speak to you. She came back again. This time around, you know, she wasn't I don't know if it's the medical doctor, he should be able to tell me if it's a medical thing. When you guys are on that seat, you put on your medical hat, you keep a straight face. Your face is too professional. So she kept a straight face. And I was like, I did ask her, is anything the matter? She said, I need to repeat the mammogram. So it was done the second time. And this time around, the doctor now said they needed to do a biopsy immediately. So at that time I went in for biopsy, but obviously biopsy doesn't come out immediately. So I had time, I went away, came back after 2 weeks to get the result of the biopsy. Again, no red flags, jolly good fellow, walked in with a friend of mine. I was in the office, I had to go in. I walked in and the doctor said to me, have a seat. And he kept a straight face. He wasn't looking at me, he was looking at his computer. And I was like, I just, you know, mumbled to myself. And I thought, okay, professional face. And I sat down. And he went round in circles and went round and said, oh, the blood tests were good. I said, good. I was saying to myself, this man should hurry up and just let me go. You know, so we talked about, then he not turned around and said, anyway, the long and short story of it is you've got breast cancer. At that point, my whole life came crumbling down. Everything was at a full stop. The only person I could think about was my son. That was the only thing that I could think about. And I started to cry. My friend that went with me was like, she was, you know, trying to console me. So I turned to the doctor immediately and I said, can I have the breast cut off? And he was like, I haven't told you all the stage, the grade. I need to talk you through what the processes are before you can now make a decision what you want to do. At that point, I said to him, I'm not interested to hear anything. What I want is the breast cut off. And he was like...
Sorry, let me just quickly jump in here. You are not a typical Nigerian woman. For you to quickly jump to that conclusion, how on earth would you say such a thing?
So, well, a lot of things were going through my mind. Okay, so you've heard people die of cancer. Is this something? So at that point, he found out that I was a bit tensed and all that. So he now said, if I can calm down, he will explain everything to me. So he went, while he was explaining, to be honest, I did not hear a single word of what he said because I'd already made up my mind. So after he said everything, he said to me, so do you still want to go ahead with the mastectomy? I said, yes. I wanted a mastectomy and a reconstruction the same day. And they told me what is involved, how long it's going to take, what I'm going to be doing and all that. So that, in a nutshell, that's how I started off my journey.
Interesting. That is really interesting. So this was all done in the UK because this was in the UK, right?
Yes, this was all done in the UK.
So obviously the level of care, unfortunately, even I hate to say this, but the level of care in the UK would be a little different from the level of care if you went to a Nigerian hospital. Certainly you would not have the entire multidisciplinary team come and sit down with you in one sitting to talk about the whole progress going forward. But we're getting there. So what we want to do in the next segment is we want to bring it down to the Nigerian environment and see what are the lessons that you've learned and lessons you've learned from going through your own treatment, but also what you've learned from helping people in Nigeria, especially in the remote areas, go through their ordeal and see what lessons we can share with the rest of our Nigerian population. All right, folks, don't go away. And if your friends and family haven't come to watch the show yet, please invite them to do so. We will be right back. All right, welcome back, folks. I am here with Mrs. Solum Collier. Her friends call her Collier, right?
Yeah.
Collier. Okay, so I'm going to go with Collier. We're talking about her experience as a breast cancer survivor and now thriver, and someone who runs a foundation that helps other women like herself. So that was an interesting ordeal you had. Let's talk about it. What are the lessons you've learned? How can we apply that to our Nigerian environment?
So with the lessons I've learned, applied it in the Nigerian context, because I'm over here, but I've dealt so much with women who are going through breast cancer in Nigeria. So with the lessons, one is never to leave any lump, any signs you see in your body. Nigerian women have this syndrome of it's not my portion. It's not my portion syndrome. It's a lot, or God forbid, somebody from my village is chasing me. It's nobody from your village that is chasing you. When you see a lump or you see something that it's not in your body, that shouldn't be in your body, you need to, don't ignore it like I did. I'm in a civilized environment where I could have ignored it and, medical help would come to me immediately. But back in Nigeria, you have to go from one process to another. So you need to be very proactive with, when you see something, you need to speak to your doctor. And when the doctor says do this, make sure you ask questions. What is it I'm doing? How is it going to benefit me? How long is this going to be? You need to ask the right questions because you need to work closely with your doctor to be able to achieve good results. And again, early detection saves life. When you start to run from one church to another, or start to take holy water to save yourself and say it's not my portion, by the time you know it, cancer, it's a deadly disease. It spreads like wildfire. Yeah. You would not, possibly not make it or to be alive to say, okay, I'm doing this. So in Nigerian context, I would advise women, when you see something, you need to be proactive. You need to have that, you need to wear a positive mindset that you would survive it. Right. Again, I always use this illustration. The very first surgery that was done in the whole entirety of the world was done by God himself. So God has given the medical doctors the knowledge to be able to do what they do. So when the doctors say this is what it is. Yes, you can seek a second opinion, but please, by all means, be proactive about your life.
I totally agree with you. I always say this to people. I said, once you've been diagnosed with breast cancer, I use the term zero your mind. This is what this is the term we use in the military. When I was in the military, you zero your mind. You can't be wishy-washy about it. You can't just check out. You've got to say, this is something that we will fight and we will win. And there are lots of examples. There are lots of examples of people who have survived breast cancer and any other kind of cancer for that matter. There's a book called Cured, in which a psychiatrist, Cured, C-U-R-E-D, a psychiatrist is now beginning to, a Harvard psychiatrist is now tabulating and chronicling all the stories of people who have survived near-death experiences with cancer and other terminal diseases. And he talks about how the mental attitude they had, the beliefs they had, the actions they took in conjunction with their doctors to be able to come out of that disease. So that's very, very important. You should not think there's a death sentence. At the same time, you should not deny that this is nothing. You should not belittle or underestimate the seriousness of the condition. You really have to go and attack it with everything you've got. Now, I do want you to talk about your foundation and what you're doing for women. So let's go over that a little bit.
Okay, so as a result of my journey, I decided I wanted to make impact because I was using my Instagram page, to share my story, to share my journey. And I had people talk, okay, we need your help. We need your help. I said, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't have the money, but I would, share my story, how it will impact people. So I thought, okay, I want to impact lives. So I went ahead to form what we call today Salum Collier Breast Cancer Foundation. So we're just a foundation where we impact lives, lives of the women, also men, because let's not forget, men also do have breast cancer.
Very rare, but yeah,
very rare. Yeah, so men are not left behind. So we impact lives, and so currently we did have an outreach in the rural area of Anambra State in May, where we carried out free breast screening for 300 women, then did other medical checks like high blood pressure, checked their blood pressures, checked their blood sugar. And we've now launched out a project called Wheels for Life. This is basically where we will be going to the National Hospital to share chemotherapy care packages to patients currently undergoing chemotherapy treatment, also at Luth in Lagos in December. And also we do have an outreach in Anambra State again, where we will be basically doing free breast screening for women.
What does that mean? What does free breast screening mean?
Free breast screening is mammogram. We'll be carrying out a mammogram, and a mammogram for women from 40 and above, scan for women who are below 40, because the breast tissue.
Ultrasound scan, you mean?
Sorry?
Ultrasound scan?
Ultrasound scan for the women who are less than 40, because of the breast tissues are quite tender. So medically, that's what is being advised. You don't go through mammogram unless.
So real quick for our audience, they found out that one of the risk factors for breast cancer are women with very dense breast tissue.
Yes.
Maybe normal weight. It doesn't mean that it's all women who are big, but dense breast tissue, and that tends to be more common among Africans as well, unfortunately. So that's another risk factor for breast cancer.
Yes, it is. And yeah, like you said, doctor, yes, weight is one of the biggest thing women should. You now have to start living a healthy lifestyle. You have to look at your weight capacity, because that's part of what tends to trigger all these diseases.
Fantastic. So you do mammographies, you help to do mammogram, you pay for mammograms.
Yes.
That's to those, especially those who can't afford it.
Yeah.
Just a one-time thing, or is it going to be a yearly thing you'll be doing for?
It's going to be a yearly thing. Fantastic. So our aim is to do it twice a year.
Okay.
not just when it's breast cancer month. So
Okay.
the foundation basically tries to avoid October because a lot happens in October.
Right.
So we
right.
try to avoid October and do it other months.
Okay.
And also, aside that, we also support people who are going through chemotherapy treatment with funding.
Really?
Yes, to pay. At the moment, the foundation have paid for, supported 8 people, not paying the full amount, but supported maybe 1 or 2 cycles of their chemotherapy treatment.
Oh, fantastic. God bless you for doing that. I'm sure that goes a long way. And I know breast cancer can sometimes be very expensive to treat. I had a friend who went to the hospital and she came back with a bill of 50 million naira for 1 year of treatment.
That it should be more than that.
Really?
Because the cheapest we've paid for a chemotherapy treatment is 180,000 naira.
But I said 50 million, not a 50,000.
So now 180,000, and somebody going through that would have to go through 10 cycles, you're talking of 1.8. Then you come back again, you have to do the surgery, you have to do radio, you have to be on, if, for example, your cancer is hormonal receptive, now you have to be on medication for the next 10 years.
Wow.
Like I am currently on medication. I'm going to be on medication for the next 10 years.
What kind of breast cancer do you have?
I had the hormonal receptive.
Which one? Was it estrogen or progesterone?
Estrogen.
Okay.
Yeah, estrogen. So I'm currently on tamoxifen.
Okay.
Which I'm going to I would take for the next 10 years.
That's still a lot better than triple negative, I have to say. But
absolutely, yes.
Thankfully, you've got it under control, and you're living your life, and you're being a blessing to other people. Real kudos to you. I hope more Nigerians like you come from, land beyond, like the UK, the US, and other places, and come back and contribute to their people who are living in the villages and who are less privileged and less fortunate. We are pretty much out of time, but do you have any final words you want to share with our audience?
I just want to encourage people who are struggling, who are going through cancer, that cancer is not a death sentence at all. Once you detect it early, you'll be able to live a normal lifestyle. Someone like me, I live a normal lifestyle. I do everything. I carry on with my daily life as if nothing has happened, and also wearing a positive hat on and saying I can do it. So for me, I am not my scar, and cancer is not the big C. Christ is.
There you go. I love it. Well said. Thank you so much, Collier, for this, and I hope we can get you on in the future. And best of luck in your endeavors and all the work you're doing for people.
Thank you very much.
Okay, God bless, folks. Thank you again for joining us. So remember, you can follow up. Go to the NTA YouTube channel. You can watch reruns of our videos, or you can go to our website, brainandbodyfoundation.org. Also, Brain and Body Foundation on all our social media platforms. Reach out to us. We are working with the federal government to help to bring this knowledge to your television sets and to your homes. God bless. Stay strong. Take care. Bye.
Hello.